I will be wearing safety glasses to keep anything from getting in my eyes, scissors to be able to cut the tissue, tweezers to hold thing in place, and a couple probes in case I need them, just metal sticks to help move things and hold them out of the way also. All right, to be able to hold the frog in place, I will be using these pins. They're called T-pins. And of course they're called T-pins because they simply make a T up at the top. So I'll be using about 8 of those to be able to hold things into place. And all of this will be placed into wax, a tray, to hold it still. Here are some of the organs that we will find when we dissect the frog, and of course we'll look to see where they are located in the body and how they work together. Starting out here, we're looking at the back of the frog. You can see the spots that allow us to see why it's called a leopard frog. All right, we're going to have to flip this over so we can actually see what is inside. And the little red dot that you see there is just simply where they put in the preserving fluid to keep the frog from rotting. I'm going to have to start cutting the skin away to be able to get into the internal organs. Now that we've got that moved, you can see the muscles. All right, this little guy actually has a six-pack if you look close. Here's his skin folded to the side, and we have to get the muscle out of the way to be able to see the rest of the internal organs. Also, this upper area in the chest, I've already cut the sternum, must be folded back so we have a better view of the heart. Now we're able to explore. This is the heart. We have to get this connective tissue away from it so we can see it better, but that is the heart. No blood, of course, because of what has been added to the frog. And here's the liver, big 3 parts of it. And as we look under it, we can see some other organs such as the stomach. This is where the food goes and is broken down. That can actually expand large enough for a mouse to fit inside there. So as we get into it, we also see that we have the small intestine. Move out some of the where the eggs are produced. And the liver is what we will cut out first because this is the largest organ and will allow us to get into some of the others. Sorry, my hand's in the way, but I'm having to get up under it there. Oh, see that little green thing? That's the gallbladder. That's where bile is produced to be able to help break down toxins. But the liver itself is a storehouse, and it's also like a factory in helping make materials that the body needs. It's actually as important as the brain is. Your body would cease to function without what the liver is able to help it do. And the frog, it eats a lot of stuff, a lot of things that are pretty bad for it. So this liver actually has to work overtime in order to keep the frog safe. All right, what I'm going to do is as we cut them out, I'm going to place pieces down or organs down beside the frog in the tray. Oh, here we have the lungs. Of course, the lungs help you to bring in oxygen. So as you can see, this frog does breathe air. And the lungs are connected to the heart, bringing air into it, pumping the oxygen to the heart, which sends it to the rest of the circulatory system, giving the entire body oxygen so that the frog can live. So let's get up under here, and you can see some more of that connective tissue. We're going to try to get the heart and lungs out together, since they are a system, and it's part of the circulatory and respiratory system. So we're going to try to carefully snip at it here so we can remove all 3 pieces at once. Once again, oxygen comes into the lungs, then is sent to the heart, where it is then pumped to the rest of the body. And of course, carbon dioxide is sent back to the lungs and expelled out into the air. All right, let's go ahead and take this and place it down. All right, so now let's look a little bit more into the digestive system. We all like to eat, but the food has to go somewhere. So we've got the stomach there, and all these vessels and veins, it's for the blood supply. So when your food is being broken down, and mainly in your small intestine, even as much or more so than your stomach, all of that blood, all those nutrients have to go back to your liver. So there's a lot of blood flow that takes place in this part of the body, How many of you have ate a really big meal and they got really sleepy afterwards? That's because your body is working so hard to digest the food. So let's separate this guy out. And even though it is called the small intestine, it's actually very long. So the food enters through the esophagus, goes into the stomach, broken down by stomach acid. From there, it enters into the small intestine, and the small intestine starts to break it down even further, allowing the nutrients to go to the body. Oh, and yes, the large intestine. This is actually where waste is gotten rid of. So let's separate it here where the two connect, the stomach and the small intestine. All right, and the stomach from the esophagus that leads up to the throat. And yeah, it kind of looks like a little shrimp. The stomach here is able to expand many times bigger than this. It's a ripple of muscles on the inside. We have found crawdads, snakes, birds, and other things in these over the past. All right, so let's go ahead and disconnect the small intestine. Again, this is where many nutrients are broken down so that the body can process it, send it to the liver, and then the rest of the body can benefit from what you have eaten. All right, again, the small intestine. All right, let's take a look at the large intestine. I know it's very short, but it's based on the width of it instead of the length. And yes, this is the organ that once everything else has been broken down, this is where water is removed and waste is gotten rid of. And here is a little bit of that waste. I know, not too pleasant, but this is how the digestive system works. All right, you know what? I'm going to have to look this little guy up and to find out what it is. All right, here we have, as I'm getting rid of some of this connective tissue here, these are the organs that help the frog to be able to produce its eggs. This frog is a female. And as you can see, there's fat stored in these pieces. And you got at the top, oh, let's look on the back here first. You got the kidneys. All right, the kidneys are for filtering the blood, getting rid of more waste materials. And you can see all that blood supply, that red vein in the middle that is connecting them. And as we see on this side, this is where we have these fat storing bodies. That's the Golgi fat body over there, the little part sticking at the end. And when you put it together with these, this is how the frog is able to produce hundreds of eggs. So a lot of that those nutrients it uses from when it eats is to be able to produce eggs. All right, let's look at the backbone here. A frog is a vertebrate. It does have a backbone. And you can see here, look at where the nerves come out. Of course, the backbone protects nerves. Now, frogs are amazing jumpers. And so whenever it uses the signal from its brain, from the nerves, and then sends that signal, from the brain down the spinal column to the nerves, then into the legs, and we get a mighty hop. All right, so let's look up here and think about how to get into the tongue. So we go up the esophagus, open the mouth, and the tongue is able to stretch quite a bit when the frog is alive, but the muscles are a little tight now from where it has been preserved. So let's just turn it out. So that is the sticky tongue that the frog would use to be able to capture its prey. All right, now I'm going to cut away some of the skin so we can see the muscle on the leg of the frog. So as you can see, the tendons and bones down in there, the muscles connecting that allow this frog to have the power to be able to hop. And the web feet so that it can swim better through the water. So we've covered most of what is with the dissection of our frog, but I'd like to show you one more thing. Here we have the lens of the eyeball. This is what allows the frog to be able to jump when you come up close to be able to get away from you. Light enters the eye through this little lens, and the information is processed by the brain. All right, thanks for hanging in there with me. This has been our frog dissection.